Hey, I'm Jonathan Tippett. I'm one of the principal artists here at the EatArt laboratory, and let me give you a little tour of where things are at. Here we have our treasured Mondo spider. She has been sequestered for development for another project, which is my primary project right now, and we have jacked into her nervous system and we're pulling out her hydraulic power to do testing on Prosthesis, which is the next project we'll see inside here. These are the lines that plug into the belly of the beast, and they lead to the alpha leg. The alpha leg is a hard-working project right now. We have on it strapped a giant hammer. This is one in a series of capstone projects that I've sponsored with this project, and it is a test rig to develop the impact system for Prosthesis, the anti-robot, the full-size machine, which is going to have huge bumpers on the front. And this is a rig to develop the damping and the spring rates and all of the sort of technical details to ensure that the pilots don't get hurt if the unfortunate event of a faceplant takes place. So the reason we're able to build this right now, or have it temporarily on the leg, is because the leg is undergoing a complete control system overhaul. I've got a sponsorship from a company called Hydroforce, which is an American hydraulics valve manufacturer, and they've been really generous to supply me with some new electro-hydraulic valve controls. And so I've had to completely rebuild the interface. The old interface is now in pieces on the deck, and the new interface is being assembled here by my team and myself. And it's considerably more elaborate, considerably more awesome, and considerably more high performance. This will allow us to move the machine with as little input force as we want, way more tunable, way more responsive, and way sexier. There's a lot of ergonomic adjustments. You can adjust the angle of the elbow, so when you're moving your arm, you can tune it to your most comfortable range of motion. You can change the length of the upper arm, and of course the lower arm will come off here. And the current pièce de la résistance is the gauntlet. So this is a hex lobe pneumatic pilot engagement cuff, or an airbag if you will. And when the pilot reaches through here and grabs the grip at the end, it'll trigger an inflation, which makes the machine engage the pilot, and then when you let go, it lets go of you and you can slide out. So this will be mounted here, and it'll give you that second, it would be the lower half of the arm. And then there's a little elbow pad that goes behind your elbow and locks you in that way. What else we got going on? So the leg, as I said, was kind of in a state of disassembly. We got a whole bunch of people working on a whole bunch of things. Titanaboa here is resting happily and getting ready for its next deployment, which is for Chinese New Year. We're going to take it out to the big New Year's parade. It's the year of the snake, so it's perfect. It's great. They're going to have like a wicker snake that's woven into the gardens, into the pond, and then it's going to sort of, the mecha snake is going to cruise around the outside. That's going to be awesome. And of course, here's our latest, greatest pride and joy. This is Quickfix, done by Hugh Patterson. He was working on Titanaboa with that team, and then he had the inspiration to build a giant syringe out of oil barrels and mark on it the number of oil barrels, or mark on it the number of barrels of oil in the Athabasca tar sands. So this stood about 10 feet tall and was jammed into the engine block of our Chevy Suburban, which we are forced to operate to tow our art around. If there was an electric alternative, we would certainly take it, but it symbolizes our addiction to oil. And we parked it in front of the Enbridge hearings on the last day of the hearings last week. So it was a smash hit. It was confused a lot of people, inspired a lot of people, and it was a great little commando deployment in the hours of rush hour in the morning.
Okay. So what's next with the rig? What's the next step?
The next step with this guy will be to finish upgrading the user interface. So the new user interface is going to be lighter, punchier, more adjustable, more comfortable, more ergonomic, sexier. It uses a whole different kind of valve system which will allow for lower input forces and more adjustability. And we're going to revamp the entire hydraulic system so that it runs in higher pressures, the components get smaller and lighter, the efficiencies go up. Basically, it's a complete full revision of the entire control and power system. And the other pièce de résistance coming up is the new electric power pack. Of course, Prosthesis has to get rid of its stinky gas engine. That phase of development is done. And so now we're building a lithium-ion battery-powered, all-electric DC power pack that's going to have a wireless graphical interface. I'm working with some of the Blackbird Interactive video game guys next door, and we're going to have like a full-on video game grade, super hot, sexy touchscreen interface with rotating components and blinking lights and gauges like Iron Man, basically, but real. We had our 5th annual Wavelength celebration, and this year was the biggest ever. We had about 450 people. We took over the room next door. We had a little bit of space allocated here for a chill dome, and it was a masterpiece. Ben Cooper and Chelsea O.C. were heading it up, and they really nailed it. And the parties are one of the things that keep us rolling and keep the crew excited. Everybody had a blast, nobody got hurt, and we can keep the lights on here for a few more months thanks to that.
Are you going to do that again next year?
Absolutely. Annual Wavelength Art Festival. Probably even bigger next year.